Inside Story Uganda, real source of political updates.
Katandikire wali watukomye. Besigye has also deliberately avoided commenting on land grabbing in Bunyoro. That shows you that he's an accomplice as opposed to an activist he claims to be. When the mafia targets people in government for economic interests, he is never heard condemning it. Even when the mafias plot to undermine beef exported from Uganda, he keeps mum. Besigye doesn't defend other opposition leaders and only supports unity as long as he is the leader of opposition. Can Museveni allow Besigye to succeed him? Can he make the same mistake Zambia's Frederick Chiruba committed? I think no. President Chiruba sponsored Levi Mwanawasa, having been convinced by medical doctors that Mwanawasa would die in 2 years. The 2-year period was estimated based on his personal income that could not sustain his medical bills. However, the moment he took over the presidency, he started a popular anti-corruption war against Chiruba, which grossly humiliated the ex-president. What many political commentators overlook in the Byanyima factor, Besigye removed Byanyima from State House but maintained political alliances with forces inside State House. The Banyankole have a saying, empty yomwanyu ekuria ne kurundana, meaning when a native hyena kills a man, it ensures all bones are gathered for proper burial. Could Dr. Kizza Besigye be the proverbial hyena and Museveni its victim? In my opinion, Museveni has remained with one option. Instead of wasting his time and resources over his in-law, who is one of the most hated people because of his conduct compared to his other in-laws, he should unveil his son, Muhoozi Kainerugaba. It is easier to market General Muhoozi than wasting time and resources on that in-law. Secondly, Museveni should do what Nyerere did and have 2 people in cabinet just in case. However, they should be controlled not to tear government apart. Thirdly, the military is still respected in Uganda. It is a bad idea for Museveni to think of a retired general. He can separate the two, the presidency and the chairmanship of the party. However, to improve the image of NRM as a party that can produce a successor is comparable to marketing the in-law, which is not easy. What if Museveni chooses Vice President Edward Kiwanuka Sekande as the successor? Is it possible? Strong leaders are never succeeded by those equally strong leaders. With the prevailing state of affairs, there are 2 options to counter the power of the mafia gang. 1, starting a new political party, which is completely impossible. And 2, coming up with a group to counter the mafia government. This, however, is also impossible given their wealth and the network they have in government. Kana katabo wakawandika 220.
Ate singo ina time. Nalikuwa daka page endala. Wewunya. Eneda chekameka.
Tusogole ngende kumao tujja kugenda kasoma masa.
Ati nkugambye eneda chekameka. Kekamu. Kubanga nze I'm not singing. I did political science. Every day kasaba okuvalu bangoba.
So
neberera wa.
Vunule ekyo okikwataganye ne mao.
Kugambye. Tinkubulya possible areas of succession. Nakugamba.
Yes.
Nti obusika bwa Museveni bugenda kubeera mu okuyiwa omusaayi. Why? When two rivaling groups are fighting over each cause a right, the war cannot end. If this ono mujozono bwaba alowooza nti ndi mufukamirirako amwe emandwa tefukamira tujja kubagana emyaka 2. If the Americans believe that the Islamic fundamentalists are a threat to America,
ajabbalwa nampaka
kugwawo. If the nababulya nembagamba, what are the channels, the providers of succession in any country? Nembagamba, the first priority goes to the first family. If it has conducted itself properly. I tell you, when you see me supporting Muhoozi, I know Muhoozi is marketable than Rwabogo.
So, olaba wo busika mukulondebwa kwa mao.
Yes.
Kutya.
Anti chenkunyonyola. To which are the catchment areas of a successor? First family. Why? It's the first family that becomes the punching bag of the new regime. If we get a new leader today, he cannot solve our economic problems. Tagenda kusala bintu. Somebody told me, nti, owagira nnyo Museveni naita ina chakwa. Is it true? Ninabye namufunamu. I don't forget. Abana bange basomere bweru nawa. Using scholars. Omukoya ankuba navuma nazaalawo. Nembaga nti ndidda mu State House ngeriyo first lady omulala. Kubanga ono namuvuma nzireyo mukube. Nga bampite bako. Balowooza nzanya. Amwe munabuddu. Once I make a statement.
So tewamuvuma nene bakuwayiriza.
Omuko. Amwe mandwa. Twili ajoga mandwa ede kabaka. Kabaka tafuga mandwa. Kakati nabaga nkugambye eki. Nti nkugambye. To the first family.
You're punching bag ya new regime.
Nti omusajja yaŋŋambye baŋŋambye oyagala nnyo Museveni. Yes. Museveni abadde ku TV talina kyayogedde. Ne mbagamba you are stupid. Bw'ogende wa dokita ne mukazi wo. Nakugamba nti omukazi ono alina olubuto. Naye waakulongoosa oba ajja kuzaala mu makubo amatuufu. Dokita talina kyaŋŋambye. Gobadde oga nti anaazaalira mu kamwa. What did you expect Museveni to tell you? We have an alternative. A Kenya Uhuru Kenyatta out of Gond Nabaganti in any election in political science. An election is a set period where governments kneel before their voters. Akalukali hoti Kenya. Naye what have they done? Uhuru Kenyatta yagandi kire biri eza akawunga nzijjeko omusolo tezikyaliyo waliyo za 5. Ate yabadde bazaala nzaale. Bali abakola obuwunga bazijjeewo ziri kilo 5 kati akawunga kekiro 5 kekalemeddewo. But Uhuru Kenyatta knows that after the elections, then this government irambagamba singa temuyina abasuma ababbi government can embark on the popular policies, but eventually benefits in 5 years abantu ne basanyuka. What magic did Museveni use to start UNEP, to immunize abana endwadde ttaano ze namutta? Why is it that kati mukyasobola mukozesa mateeka ate tutte mwana wakusibwa?
What went wrong?
Yes. Once a government stays in power for a long time, it develops political inertia. Egaga. Kakati mu Uganda.
Government yagaga.
Tuchita political inertia. Kufuna revival. Revival churches. Abalokole. It suffers. Once a government loses public trust and confidence, everything it does becomes a referendum. Museveni yagema abaana UNEP nga abantu badduka buddusa ogema abaana baabwe. Mulindwa muwonge yabaga nti mbagema abange babiri baafa ng'eddagala fu. Naye nga Museveni kyayogera kyonna enkyaba kikola. What has gone wrong? Once you saw musajja kasola bomugagga wuganira mu bank. Bwana Mirundi nazze wano kuva dda tebannankolako weevuwadde. Once a government starts to resorting to the law, it has lost the persuasion option. Bakikyayi. Naye abakyayi Museveni sigwe bakyayi ababbi abagibbiramu. Kati oyinza ogamba saako zaaliwo dda. Oyinza ogamba rural farmers scheme yaliwo dda. Kakati olaba excitement ku gundi eno. Palisi eriwa. Abasibe bagana batya emmere ya hoteri. Bifu bategeera bifu bya bulimba. Nabagamba nti omusajja ali mukulu wa ssomero. Embuzi ze ne zifa. N'aliisa abaana b'essomero ennyama y'embuzi. Ente ne zifa. N'afiirwa wiiki namba bali ennyama yanti. N'afiirwa embizi baagirya. Bwe yafiirwa mukazi we baayokya essomero. Yali abamanyiriza okulya ebifu. Kati gavumenti eno erimbye nnyo abantu. Naye ababbi abali mu rural farmers scheme, be babbi be bamu bali mu myoga, be babbi be bali mu serogani y'ekibuga. Kati people are tired.
Kyova baganya kiwagira.
Tekiriyo. Fasiredi akiyingidde mwani aki baganda Bayibuli ate balokole. Omwana yagaa nti omuseke gundya deriyo omuseke kemu ng'abantu bamukowadda.
Ayimbirira buli kaseera.
Yes. So ne bw'onookiteeka mwani bifu. You have to remove the mafias. Kakati nakugamba nti the first family is the bunching back of the new regime. Why? It's exciting. The only thing a new president will do is to force those people who have stolen from the poor to vomit. Ugandans are not poor because of international economy. No. The Ugandans since immemorial have been in the informal sector. Muganda tells you, enimiro y'omukopi yegombolola ye. A farmer with a plantation in Buganda is rated at the Gombola chief. Asikazayo sazanaki. Eyo motoka jemulaba, the Baganda of the old days, bagule motoka ono muferi, ono mulenzi omuferi. Yazeyo kujiddabiza. If the Baganda of that time in 1958, baba la population in Buganda nga Baganda, mu Buganda mulimu abantu milioni 1.5 nga Baganda bali emitwalo 9. Bagula Rolls Royce. Bana bomulembe kono tabasobola yali akijira kibireko abantu abavuganga Rolls Royce bali Asante ow'eggana Sirasi ne Muteesa basatu mu Africa abagula Rolls Royce. Yes. Naye nga Abaganda bayirya nkuta did Baganda riot Abaganda barayitinga mwana 8 5 mwemeka economic not to be and to be represented in the Ruchiko. Kakati nkubuli nkugamba first priority to get to produce a success.
Your first family.
Because if the first family performs well, you become the royal family. We can pick from you a Poland. Bali balongo babiri ngomu ya president umula prime minister until one who died in an accident. Abalongo. The Poland abalongo bafuga. Higwanga abalongo nga babawulira ku masuuti.
President ne prime minister.
Yes, by India Gandhi bani.
Okay.
So kakati that's one. Naye muhozi mumukubye nnyo. Nze nenvayo nga ewatali yadde 10. Kubanga ono ajoga abantu yayina sente Museveni tayina yadde 10. Bw'owagira Museveni ofa bwavu. If you support Museveni in NRM ofa bwavu.
The president
anti alagira banande we so bani and these are the same game players. Bana abamuwakanya they have the money.
Bagaba.
Yes, bo bagaba. Omanyi wali omusajja bamuyitanga Ngwema. Yes, ndoze kotoliyo jine. Ngwema yakwata abaana ba primary bonna n'abakuŋŋaanya Kololo. N'abagaa nti bannange
Kololo weri.
Baana mmwe tie Ngwema ne Katonda ani asinga. Abaana ne bagamba nti Katonda. N'abagamba Ngwema tuwakane tie musabe Katonda abaleetere sweet. Muzibiriza amaaso musabe Katonda abaleetere sweet tebaleeta.
Katonda teyaleta.
N'abagamba
tugende mpola.
Kati musabe Ngwema.
Katonda teyabawa sweet.
Motoka ne zijja n'ababuuza mukiddemu kye n'ababuuzizza abaana b'amasomero. Ngwema ne Katonda ani asinga. Ngwema. Kakati kye munaasabanga Ngwema munaaweebwanga. Kakati Museveni akulagira genda wa Nalweso yakuba. Nti option namba emwe badde mu ruling family.
Yes.
Ono nanyini sinakuba mukoddomiwe. Abakuba muhoozi atamidde. Tweet biki ba mu nyumba yi. Kakati the next option is what? The next option is to rehabilitate your former allies, as I pointed out. Nti buli mukulembeze agezezzaako to rehabilitate former allies bamusibye. Chiruba mwana waso yabukanira mga oli corrupt namutega akabenje ka motoka kati abo bamuyita ya rehabilitating nga badokita bamugaye nti ajja kufa mu myaka 2 yafa mu myaka 7 kuba yali amuteza akabenje atenga obusungu obumwe nti nenkufoto no Nalwesabera.
So second option.
Nino kukwirira mujozono.
So
program zange basijja kwa nino bega so kubenyu.
So second option ogambi ya chi?
Ani kugaye whoever tried the second option of rehabilitating your former gund. Mumoyi yagana ukulu Chinyata gundi Raila Odinga yayingira mu Moyi amuoba secretary general. Bwakati kumuwa busika yagana. Libulo semeko gundi ani ekyo tubakimanyi omuntu yenna gwosibye mu kkomera n'obwenyabwenya abeera n'embiibi
ababita
Dos Santos afiiridde Spain n'abaana be babanoonya ekitegeeza Museveni ali aweya Katonda amuwadde ebyebikiro alabye Mugabe alabye Mubaraka alabye Gaddafi.
So kwe kusembeza mao
if there was no counter coup in Sudan singa Bashir ali luddawo Bashir ali mu komera yazimbira banne but has not been handed over
to ICC.
Why? Bali abasajja baabala Bashir tayina baana naye wasanga bakazi babajjenu banne. Bashir ye musajja asinza amanye Sudan teri mukulembeze wa Sudan yagezaako kutemako South Sudan nasigalako kati has been humiliated ali mu komera lisinga amaanyi.
So Mwai Museveni abalaka ki mu kusembeza mao? Is he trying to mend bridges?
Museveni is bringing hybrid. When Muhoozi came out batandika okumukuba mu nyumba ye kuba the first family split ne bamukuba abavuma Muhoozi ba mu family ya Museveni era nabagambye ti oyo omwana mutani wa Nadduli Jakana Museveni amuyite amugambe nti ani akulagira okunvuma ajja kwewunya abamuwa ssente ba mu nyumba ya Museveni. Ogwo omuko gundi flat bovunye muyita TMO si yange bajigula dda
TMO ya mukwano
bawakanka ka ssente n'enjivaako bakweke buli obutambi obwali kedda obwo organize tebamanyi mbuyina nze nabuteekangako
ombulidde ekipya kanka
bamuwa ssente yagula kayina y'amaanyi nnyo bamuwa ssente twisolate ono nino mufukamira nga siri kufukamirirako mando tefukamira mane kakati nkugamba okyayina ebirango byokuba
tugende mu maaso Tamale.
Kakati nkugamba nti there are 3 possible ways to succeed a leader. One, the members of the first family. I've explained that Museveni is unique. That after almost 40 years, he still has support. Because you have not seen an exodus of people getting out of his party. Even those who lose primary elections, they prefer to remain independent. They remain near the veranda of Jana obutagenda mu muliro. Kakati Museveni ayina ekizibu tiayinamu omuntu mu famire ye yalwala tukiyita the shadow over the throne syndrome. Waliwo yakimuteekamu nti asobola okufuga eggwanga and is very malicious. He is the one who is financing attacks on Muhoozi. Tugenza okuwaba, tugenza okukola ki, but Muhoozi the best choice for Museveni, judging from the prevailing situation. Kakati, how can Museveni protect Muhoozi? He must remain in the army, but not doing the political work. You must get an ally. Politics is based on alliances. This is where Mao comes in.
Mao comes in as an ally.
There is a possibility that in the future they will ally by Jacola alliance. Bono Joker, Bontains could tell you.
Kitaka kurikodiwa.
Banga, no, in an organic case, Mquati. Members of the ICC are coming here on Wednesday. They are arriving here. I can meet them or not.
Okay. So there is a possibility.
Yes.
As
Muhoozi concentrates on his marital work, has got an ally. After examining, Museveni has examined nti abaganda bagamba nti ebibite byenganangana okwenda ku nnyoko yenda ku nazaalawo. Instead of having a sexual intercourse with your mother, have it on your mother-in-law. When you examine, Bobi Wine is consolidating himself, has constructed, is constructing the miscalculated. Bamulete Chibalama. Nibagamba obwa monitor nibagamba. Chibalama is Museveni's hand. Chibalama nibagamba, me I know. Museveni cannot afford to disorganize. Nope. Why? Bobi Wine benefited from a confusion. Museveni was not informed that a smaller party under Lugunda's supervision was organizing a delegates conference. To organize a delegates conference, you must have 14 days. Kabushenga was involved. All of these people, the intelligence officers were. By the time Museveni realized that Bobi Wine has got a party, it was too late. Like advising your daughter not to move with the bad boys when he's already pregnant.
Kiba too late.
Kakati Museveni yalita sobola kukkiriza ate bakibalama kutuuza delegates conference bagobani Bobi Wine.
Okay.
Besi ye bakiyingiramu. Kati ate bano bakolera Bobi Wine abazungu bawaani. Kati Bobi Wine yenywezezza ewuwe. Nalabya abasajja babiri who are very close to Museveni nga boogera nange banziba omuyo bonna beeko baana banziba essente zange njaba bakatambi oli omuyagambye munne ndimanyi omusajja kyatukoze ekintu ekitujje mu kamwa badde bakiyita kyabo abakooto abajooga abantu abeefula nekiwanuka waako
abakooto wabajja omugati mukamwa
anti abakooto nabalabye nga batudde omu n'agamba munne nze nzirukidde wa Muhoozi ono n'agamba nti ngenze mu Nuupu kakati gwe tekimanyi bano akafekete kabukidde buno babuwa ssente kati babalowooza create a situation that Mao has joined the government, create a vacancy ono munnaffe eyalwala room agenda ayingire muki mu DP mutemukitegeera
agende mu DP.
Yes, nombuzi embwa obubwa
atuvuma bantu mwami.
Yes, you left the Democratic Party. Nikadeno kamuwanga kivumbi bono buluzunga political pendulums. Mawe yabana abujja Buganda.
Political pendulums.
Yes, they don't know that when the DP was defeated in Buganda after the 1962 elections, it retreated to northern Uganda. Mao, we are reciprocating. We are paying back. Whenever DP is affected, it retreats in the Catholic Church or goes to the north.
So is Mao getting stronger or,
yes.
He has lost it?
Let me tell you.
But numbers of ababaka ba DP block
tebaliyo. These are idiots. Mabiche kaddu kadda mu DP. Nekagenda nekayisiba ku bwa meya. Kasekezi mabiche naye muntu yali abbye ekibiina kya credible person to condemn this man Mao urubise mwogerere. Those are idiots, they left. Bava makabala byo musajja akutta akaluba komawo.
Batuziza olukiiko walabye.
Ati kubulidde beetaaga kusiba.
Oweebuyikwe mukwano
gwange.
They
are being sponsored, the Lulume is stupid.
Dr. Lulume
they are being sponsored by this man who is looking for a political party.
Native mabantu kwa soli nyolunja bantu kwa bali ku radio bawuliriza abaana bato.
Nyambula bwe nali omwavu wandeka wonzifunye lwakyo nnondoola nyambula wanvuma obunafu nyambula banyambula tebadda mu DP naye gwakimanyi ndiza sina kadi ye nalemu naye nina eya DP.
Oyina eya DP?
Yes, eya 1980.
Ate kibiina kyaweddewo.
Ate kyaweddewo kitya omusajja. Let me tell you,
bano banenyamaa okubalyamu.
Whenever we get a problem in Uganda, we look for the Democratic Party. In 1969, when Obote abolished and the political parties and declared a single party state, he picked the Secretary General of DP, Basattira Batalingaya, to be his Minister of Internal Affairs. When Amin took power, he released Chiwanuka and made him Chief Justice. DP is a home of brain power. When Museveni came in 1986, he borrowed the money power from the Democratic Party. Yes or no?
True.
Today, Mao is the most clean person among the leaders of the opposition. Who can make an alliance with the Muhoozi? They are friends. You were stupid. This man, Mao, and he's stupid, you see. Abantu abamu oba bali amere kitu jimmembwa zaffe. NRM entertains gives more attention to newcomers than its original supporters. The moment you support Museveni, you are dead. I wouldn't have been treated the way I've been treated. If I'm not a hard-working man, my children will not be going to school. The only consolation is that my children are very bright. They go to bad schools, but I've never seen Museveni giving me a coin. Mulino genda kokachiko, batadeko canon night, batadekani. Babanja sentence nino okubera hunting dog nswere mpunu. Me have never been hunting a dog. Never mubraine. Sisobola nswere mpunu. To be an advisor and swear mpunu.
You are an advisor.
I'm not. Call it to me. Bakati kwatente benje kukubegwe. Wamutuita ba. One. Every time Uganda is in need of a credible person, you come to the Democratic Party.
Every time Uganda needs a credible.
Yes. This is not the first time. Ben Chiwanuka.
Mawa ina kyagatta ku government eno.
Yes. Mawa is credible. This government is dogged by the problem of human rights violations. And Museveni is a very tactful man. Has put him in the Ministry of Justice. Ministry of Justice is very important. One, we have people who have been planning to go through Parliament instead of subjecting themselves to an election. No. He is going to restore the judiciary. Ninama simu abajoza babadde bakubira abalamuza amasimu.
Abakubira abajoza.
Lwaki Museveni yaleeta gundi yale Mukasa Mululi. Chiwanuka ne bamukubye.
Mpulira.
We are going to have reforms, political reforms. Who is in charge of political reforms? We've been complaining about no people in prison. That's an assignment of Mao. If Mao manages to release these people from prison, it will be a very big embarrassment to Bobby Wine. Why? Mao, like a Bobby Wine, have been lamenting in the press conferences. Political power is the influence and advantage. When a house girl becomes a housewife, sleeps in a different bed, decides what to cook, that's where Mao has gone. He has now political power and influence, which Bobby Wine does not have. A man who has been lamenting, and Mao has got married and remained a virgin.
Mao has gotten married.
Yes.
And he has remained a virgin.
A virgin,
How?
yeah.
Where is the virginity
I've
here?
seen Museveni signing 3 agreements. One, the Nairobi agreement that failed because of I have no time to explain. Owinye negotiated a deal between Museveni and the rebels under Okero. Owinye It worked. And as a result, Owinye was the Minister of International Relations until he suffered the Buto incident. The Bamuyira Buto. The Mutwale of Erongo time Mujanjaba, changes came. He bounced back. You know, Mulvesi. To what if you know government Agamba, I prefer to work with the Northerners. Yali so unye. Bamukubye, Mausiwe. Today, abasajjabo abatta abantu ne batula organize abo. Babadde bagoba buli Minister wa Justice. Balemesa bagemire. Ne bajjawo Otafiire. Ne bajjawo n'omusajja wa UPC. Kuluno bafunye a hostile Minister of Justice. Ayimukama otended. Obusajja buno tunabuwumulako obwatta abantu. Obuganye obulowooza mbu busobola okukyukani. Mwe mukyogeze mutani wa Yohana Mirundi. Ndimbafukamire mmwe nswere empunu. Ngende mu president's office under somebody. Eyawandikanga nti to his excellency the president briefing as well president through minister of president nswere empunu. I went home. Ndikola mundala. Nenga sijogeddwa.
Olikola mu government eddako?
Yes, but not this one. Eno yansala nakkiriza realist. Which means any idiot who says that Mao has sold the Democratic Party is stupid.
Siba sanyufu n'akamu. Bayogedde nga bonna mitaafu.
Let me tell you, when Jesus picked St. Paul from Abafarisayo, where the Bafarisayo happy, when Samogere was serving government for 9 years under Museveni, Museveni found him in the government as a Minister of Internal Affairs. A group calling itself DP Mobilizers Group used to fight the government to incite it to ban the democracy. What has Mao done? Mao has come with an agreement. In fact, this man who has now seen that his chances is the one who wants to create a virtue in the Democratic Party. Aje ayinsolinga yoba mabiche wakola de ekibinde ekicho mabike tayinza kudda mu DP mukuba.
However, I wish him to clarify on the narrative of being an accomplice, Dr. Kizza Besigye, of land grabbing in Bunyoro. I don't think failure to make a comment on all injustices translates to being an accomplice. It could be lack of knowledge about the matter. Such conclusion lacks logic, which is quite unusual of our mentor.
You compare Besigye to Raila Odinga. This is why Raila Odinga is avoiding the presidential debate. Even Kalua failed to defend Uhuru on corruption. Has Besigye ever come out openly to condemn corruption, to condemn land grabbing, to condemn grabbing of businesses? Nkugambi, let me tell you ekiwumula Besigye. Bwe baleeta premier buses, Besigye yakube motoka zafaana mu 5 eza takisi. Twanonye ebifaananyi ebitubula. Ne mbagamba ti intelligence ya Uganda ngisaasira. How can a businessman bring a fleet of new buses into a riotous city? Fabaja mu Kampala mu kitegeere. Ekizimbe ekimu kiraba IPS building kyali kyandabirwamu. When Aga Khan got credible information that Kampala was going to be a riotous city, the Americans and the British moved from there. Aga Khan turned the building into concrete. This is when a businessman brought a new fleet of buses. They were not targeted by Besigye. Besigye has never condemned the corruption. It's part of them.
Okay. Thanks for the show, Bwana Adam Kunga. Tuned in. Just a photo studio. Chirombe. Salute to Mr. Tamale Jambo Ndugu okuva ku Titus na kugamba Chikungu omulongo waswa Henry Kwende namasuba tuli live fenna Titus Ruchereho Gayaza Jambo gambye ku olyogoberera onagamba Kungu we are tuned in. Honorable Kaluanga webali nnyo ssebo kuva ebusujju ogambye ku oli ogoberera. Muganda wange Ismail Dakaba Kiyonga munnamawulire Jambo gambye nti kungu akatebe tekaku webali munnamawulire bwe nkuyita advisor
kimpitola me kankubuulire
katono nnyo mu Tamale
mu political science batugamba know your political value and commercial value. I'm not an advisor. I cannot be rated as an advisor. Advisory role is for all the people.
Okay.
Eyo nyumba nzadde, I'm still active. Ne President Museveni yalowooza nti my welfare, to address my welfare, kanteerewo akantu. Nkugamba nti the way he was grilled in that meeting, sinza kuddamu kukola mu government.
Kongo Mao is like Sebagala, Agrawal, Omara Tubo. Mao will impact nothing. After all, he has been a public reject in DP. Magala Fred Amota Kakumiro.
How can you say nti Mao has been a reject and you say he has been a man twice on the Democratic Party night at delegates conference? Sebagala failed to go through a delegates conference. When somebody defeats you, accept. Mao is credible. I'm telling you. He
went alone.
An agreement. And let me tell you, abantu bano basiru balowooza nti power njijja mu State House. The moment you remove him on radio, back. Nkoko?
Luombo?
Yes. Bakuwa Luombo lwamukene n'enkoko ya sowani ulonda koji. It's my brain, akili yangu. Not any job. I have no job in the government. People listen to me. It's not DP that makes Mao. It's his brain.
Okay. Selector Bonus Kalagala Bombo. Tamale Mirundi Mirundi mu Luwero district kwetuli mumbulize naye mwendo gy'ebintu nga gitutta. Okay, webalo nagamba Gerard Kaviri Fort Poto Jambo gambye ko lyogoberera obaka bungi wano kungu Tamale
ono mutani wange Nsereka akubye essimu ayagala kwogera kimuwe
honorable
Nsereka.
Okay,
essimu ye ya Nsereka
kamufune.
Yes.
Hala. All right, Chikumi Musatu ka tonyeze sat Radio 4 and so Honorable Muhammad Nsereko Jambo webali
ati ndako zino mbadde mukisaizinga sagala akole
Honorable Nsereko Jambo webali kugoberera
sagala
onagambye 6 Masindi Kitengule Jambo webali nyo Adam Ismail Chirasa Masindi Honorable thanks onagamba Adam Kung thanks for the program. I'm Brown from Masindi Radio 4 Mustafa Emachindye Mao taina kyagenda kuyamba president.
Let us wait.
Okujja okay webale nnyo onagamba good evening Kungu why
I was explaining
nze Shibarwe Moses ewabududa ekiryandongo kwetuli mukulu Tamale mundabire
kankubuze. Have you ever seen Museveni before appointing a minister signing an agreement with him or her?
I've never. This was the first time.
This makes Mao a very important, a unique person.
Or agreement jeba signing.
Yes. Museveni to humble himself.
Ne yaganyo kuwa ekibiina ky'abanne.
Anti chenkubu no.
Yagambye agenda kukola byonna.
Senkagale wa DP era minister akola ku nsonga z'obwenkanya n'ebitongole biramuze. Olwaleero asekanye Mao agenda n'omugogo gwa DP.
But does it make sense?
Yes.
Nti oli president wa opposition.
Yes. Semwogerere worked in this government and went back and raised dust. Emyaka mwenda. Semwogerere yaddeyo ne DP. DP eri mu nsawo. Nambuuza atasoma yalowooza. Is DP in the pocket? Ye for Betty banned the political parties in 1969. 1980, DP was revived. Tell him mpale ya muntu. Can you sell a political party? Stupidity. Can you sell my intelligence? Stupidity. Museveni has known. Mao yazze ne baminister ba state yaba. Nakola ki ono mujozi.
Okay.
When pork is rejected, a Muslim cannot eat pork. Even if it turns into sausages. Ono yensi ya mutamwa.
Adam, assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam. Thanks for the program. I'm Farida Chamugweri. Message, we are listening in and following you. Onagamba, tukuliziganye. Teacher Hilary Amanya, Jambo, Kungu, ask Tamale who is likely to be the next president. Webale, or Abiona Chibale. tuwuliziganye mwami Tamale tuwuliziganye Hilary amanya webale Jambo Kungu, I love Tamale because he enlightens us. I'm Arnold Hitler from Pakanyi Masindi. Onagamba Kungu bali kuwereza nze balige ya Julius Kyankwanzi nange kwendi nnyo mpuliriza. Kaija Katera Kiryandongo Jambo Adam omusajja takuba entebe. Okay. Wachiganye title JK mwami Tamale obato jagala
anteriyo who calls me that,
but you're given that title by the
general
president.
cannot be a platoon commander. Have you ever seen it to me? I think the president wanted to get some small money for me to address my welfare, but I'm not an advisor.
Juria Bunyoro
I'm above that.
Tawanyi Joshua webale Kungu Alex Magezi Jambo nze bawa nalonge machindi webale nalongo mutulabire muzukulu wa omugenzi Hassan webale Kungu ando mukuku na Tamale we are listening in Tindiebwa Apollo from Rusangura Masindi Helen Masindi Jambo Kungu omukunavu mundabire onagamba walukaga ndibusega naga Tamale Mirundi ke Anonagamba President Museveni on that pledged 80 million as a request from him to those who stepped down for the flag bearer NRM, but Mr. Tamale should assist me. Joshua Manyire Chiza Masindi, former mayor. Former mayor akugambye.
Andi kankubuli waliwo omusajja gwenkubidde essimu mbunze bandropinze nga aladisi ne mugayi was stupid. I left the state house 10 years ago after failing to defend my job. So how abaganda baganti osaboti omuzimu obuwangazi obanga nze ekyango omukoya ngoba ate na defending amwe politics. Let me tell you, a political agreement is guided by 3 issues. One, if a political agreement, the conditions under which is signed change is null and void. Kati goba wava mu kalunga ati bazikuwadde tobanja. Two, if a political agreement is implemented 40% is a done deal. Museveni yagamba mukasiko kati mulaba akasiko naduli abadamanya akasiko mutabani wa kapamie
amugana wange Isaac wa Pakabulo amutabani wo mugenzi kati James wa Pakabulo gambye naye ko lyogoberera a program entojivako Honorable Tamaguzi Semakula member of parliament na Kaseke South Jambo webale Honorable Sarah Najuma member of parliament omukyala district na Kaseke webale mama Mityana Honorable Judith Nabakoba nawe webale kubiranga tova ku program eno Honorable Nyakato okuva Hoima Jambo webale nawe kubiranga ogoberera anabala mwena abali ku Radio 7 na Radio 4 mbabuza ku mungeri enjawulo akatabo kensomo wano akaita Blood Museveni's Succession media consultant Tamale Mirundi yakawandika omwaka gwa 2022 nga gutandika. Okay,